May 27th, 2023, a Saturday evening. Across the globe, as twilight deepened into night, the world's digital infrastructure hummed with a deceptive calm. Routine backups clicked into place. Transactional data flowed silently, and countless servers performed their nightly rituals, oblivious to the invisible predator that had already slipped through the digital veil. But in a nondescript office building in downtown Chicago, a lone figure felt the first tremor of an impending earthquake. Mark, an IT administrator for a major payroll processing company, was staring blankly at his monitor, a half-empty mug of cold coffee at his elbow. The air in the server room, usually a symphony of controlled hums and clicks, felt strangely charged, almost heavy. His eyes, already strained from a long week, darted across the flickering lines of a network traffic graph. A spike, then another. Unnatural. His breath hitched in his throat. This wasn't a DDoS attack. There was no surge of incoming malicious requests. This was in time's outflow asterisk. A massive, silent, relentless torrent of data, gushing times out times of their most secure servers. He swallowed hard, the taste of stale coffee bitter on his tongue. His fingers, usually steady, trembled as he navigated through system logs. Firewall alerts none. Intrusion detection quiet. It was as if the data was simply walking out the front door, unimpeded, unannounced. A cold dread seeped into his bones. He knew, with a certainty that chilled him to the core, that this wasn't just their time's data, their clients' employee payrolls, their addresses, their social security numbers, the very digital fabric of their lives were being siphoned off. And if it was happening to them, a company that prided itself on Fort Knox-level security, then it was happening elsewhere. Somewhere, an unseen hand was plucking secrets from thousands of organizations, across continents, simultaneously. It was a global digital heist, unfurling not in a burst of violent encryption, but in a quiet, methodical, soul-chilling exfiltration. The realization hit him like a physical blow. Their clients, their employees, millions times of lives, were already exposed. The question wasn't if, but when, the world would learn of the largest silent data theft in history. And what would happen then? To understand the chilling precision of that May night, we must rewind, delving into the shadowy origins of the force behind it, CL0P. They emerged in early 2019, not with a bang, but with a whisper that quickly grew into a roar across the dark corners of the internet. Their name, often stylized as CL0P, became synonymous with a new breed of cybercriminal, ruthless, methodical, and utterly devoid of anything but cold, calculating greed. These aren't your typical basement-dwelling teenagers dabbling in petty digital mischief. CL0P is believed to be a sophisticated, highly organized Russian-speaking entity. Their operations meticulously timed to Eastern European working hours, a telling clue to their geographical base. And a crucial detail, they scrupulously avoid attacking targets within Russia or former Soviet states. A silent pact with the powers that be. Or perhaps a strategic decision to maintain operational impunity. What truly sets CL0P apart is their singular, unyielding motivation: money. They aren't interested in political statements, ideological crusades, or even the chaos itself. Chaos is merely a tool, a means to an end. Their manifestos, when they bothered to issue them, were blunt, almost brutally honest. We are only interested in money. This isn't just about ransoming files. It's about a deeper, more primal hunger for wealth, a desire so profound it drove them to innovate new forms of digital extortion. They were pioneers of the CL0P. With its rapacious appetite for financial gain, had long perfected the art of the supply chain attack. They weren't interested in individual targets. They sought the weak link that could unlock 1,000 doors simultaneously. Their obsession with managed file transfer (MFT) solutions wasn't accidental. These platforms are designed to move vast quantities of sensitive data securely between organizations, making them a goldmine for an attacker who could compromise them. The hunt was always on for the next Achilles heel. Somewhere in the labyrinthine expanse of the dark web, CL0P either painstakingly discovered or shrewdly purchased information about a critical zero-day vulnerability. A flaw so profound, so expertly hidden, it lay dormant within Progress Software's MOVEit transfer web application. An unguarded backdoor in every unpatched version of the software. This was CVE2-023-34362. The first whispers of this new weapon in CL0P's arsenal began to surface around May 27 to 28. 2023. These were the crucial, silent hours when the digital infiltrators moved with ghost-like stealth. CL0P, masters of timing, often struck during weekends or public holidays, maximizing their window of opportunity when IT teams were stretched thin, their guard lowered, their response times sluggish. It was a cold, calculated strategy, exploiting not just a technical flaw, but a very human one, the desire for respite. To truly grasp the insidious nature of this vulnerability, let's imagine MOVEit Transfer as an ultra-secure digital post office. It's where companies send their most precious packages, large files, confidential documents, entire databases to clients, partners, and employees, all organized within a massive digital filing cabinet, its database. Now, picture that post office having hundreds, thousands of input forms for things like tracking numbers, login credentials, or searching for specific packages. The vulnerability, CV2-02-334-362, was like a single, almost imperceptible faulty lock on one of these input forms. Maybe a seemingly innocuous search field, or a less used feedback submission. Most people would use it as intended, entering a tracking number. But a malicious actor, like CL0P, could inject something entirely different. Instead of a tracking number, they would type in a series of highly specific, seemingly nonsensical characters, an SQL injection. Think of it this way. You walk up to a post office counter. The clerk asks for your tracking number. Instead of giving a number, you hand them a note that reads, "Hey, can you open that filing cabinet over there and copy times everything times onto this USB stick?" Normally, the clerk would ignore you, but with this faulty lock, the system times misinterprets times the stage was set. The vulnerability was found, the access gained. Now, CL0P moved with the surgical precision of a master thief. Once the SQL injection provided the initial foothold, they wasted no time. Their next move was to deploy a custom web shell, a malicious program they dubbed MOVEit. Imagine MOVEit as CL0P's personal digital skeleton key and remote control, all rolled into one. It was a clandestine backdoor, allowing them to maintain persistent, undetected access to the compromised MOVEit transfer servers. From this perch, the hackers could not only gather intimate details about the target system, but, more importantly, systematically plunder its most valuable asset, the data. The command lines glowed green in a dark room. H keystroke. A deliberate. Calculated step deeper into the digital heart of thousands of unsuspecting organizations. A faceless figure, cloaked in the anonymity of the web, watched as MOVEit began its grim work. Enumerate. The web shell first mapped out the entire internal landscape of MOVEit's SQL databases, like an architect meticulously blueprinting a building before demolition. It found the names of tables, the columns, the relationships, every hidden nook and cranny where sensitive data might reside. Extract. Then, with terrifying efficiency, it began pulling Microsoft Azure system settings, crucial configuration data that could unlock further access or reveal more targets. But the true prize lay in the sensitive files themselves. MOVEit systematically siphoned files directly from the managed file transfer environments. Payroll data, medical records, financial statements, personal identifiers, flowing in an endless stream from the victims to the waiting servers of CL0P to mask their tracks. The stolen data was compressed using gzip, making it smaller and quicker to transmit, then sent back via HTTP requests, blending in with legitimate web traffic. This wasn't a smash and grab. It was a quiet, digital draining, a slow bleed of secrets under the cloak of night. The timeline of the unfolding disaster reads like a chilling countdown. May 28, 2023 ***. The first faint alarm bells ring. A customer, sharp-eyed and vigilant, reports unusual activity on their MOVEit server. It's a whisper in the digital wind, but enough to trigger an internal investigation at Progress Software. The hum of routine operations is broken by a rising crescendo of panic. May 31, 2023 ***. Progress Software, now in a frantic race against the clock, publicly announces the critical vulnerability CV2 02334-362 and releases an emergency patch. But the damage is already done. For days, CL0P has been actively exploiting this flaw, extracting untold millions of records. The stables are empty, the horse long gone. June 2023 ***. CISA. The U.S. Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency issues its own security advisory, amplifying the warning. The digital world begins to stir, groggily realizing the scale of the threat. June 2023 CVE 202334362 is officially assigned a cold, clinical identifier for a vulnerability that has already brought devastation. CISA adds it to its known exploited vulnerabilities catalog. an urgent plea to organizations patch immediately or suffer the consequences. But for many, it's too late. The data is already gone. June sank. 2023 asterisk CL0P breaks its silence. On their dark web leak site, they publicly claim responsibility. A chilling manifesto appears. A declaration of conquest. The world finally knows the name of the orchestrator behind the silent global data heist. The air thickens with fear. Millions of people, unknowingly, have just become victims of an unprecedented cyber attack. The declaration of war was delivered on June 6, 2023, CL0P, with audacious arrogance, posted a chilling communication on their dark web leak site. The message was clear, devoid of emotion, and purely transactional. Victim organizations had until June 14, 2023, to contact them, failed to meet this deadline, and stolen data would be publicly leaked. A mere 8 days to negotiate their digital souls back from the abyss. The clock began to tick, a relentless drumbeat towards public humiliation and financial ruin. The pressure was immense. Imagine being an executive, your company's entire reputation, built over decades, now hanging by a thread, contingent on a ransom demand from an anonymous, faceless entity in the digital shadows. The fear of public exposure, of irreversible damage, gnawed at them. Law enforcement and cybersecurity agencies sprang into action. The FBI and CISA, in a rare joint advisory, scrambled to share indicators of compromise, IOCs, and mitigation strategies. Cybersecurity firms like Rapid7 and Mandiant, the digital detectives of our age, worked around the clock, analyzing the unique signature of the Lemurlut web shell, dissecting the attack vectors, and providing urgent guidance. The hunt was on. A desperate, global game of cat and mouse against an elusive, highly skilled adversary. But CL0P held the ultimate weapon, the stolen data. True to their word, on June 14, 2023, the leaks began. A trickle at first, then a steady stream of names, company logos, and tantalizing snippets of stolen data appearing on their dark website. Each leak was a calculated move, designed to ratchet up pressure, to prove they meant business. They rarely released the full trove, often just a small percentage. The dust has settled, but the scars remain. The MOVEit transfer attack by CL0P was not merely a technical breach, it was a devastating revelation of our collective vulnerability in an interconnected world. The numbers are staggering. A cold, hard testament to the scale of the invasion. Over 700 organizations compromised, approximately 3 million individuals exposed. Earlier estimates, themselves horrifying, proved to be conservative, climbing steadily as the full scope of the disaster unfurled. The financial impact alone is a gut punch to the global economy, estimated at over $8 billion. That's not just abstract figures, that's the cost of identity theft, fraud, remediation, legal battles, and lost trust. Each dollar representing a ripple of fear and disruption in countless lives. No one was truly safe. U.S. federal agencies, including the Department of Energy, found their sensitive data exposed. The government of Nova Scotia saw critical employee information siphoned. Payroll providers like Zealous, the digital backbone for giants like British Airways and the BBC, became unwitting conduits. Their clients' staff IDs, birth dates, home addresses, and national insurance numbers spilling into the dark web. Shell, Johns Hopkins, Ernst Young, even the French unemployment agency Pôle Emploi. With 10 million individuals affected, the list went on. A brutal roll call of an exposed world. The personal data compromised wasn't just names, it was social security numbers, financial details, potentially medical records, the very keys to our digital identities, now circulating among unseen predators. And then, there was the twist. The final insult, CL0P. In their twisted brand of